What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about Alex Len signing a 2-year, $8.5 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. Out of all teams, I was a little surprised um, that the Hawks will pick him up. Alex Len is a guy that I told you had a lot of potential. He's a 25-year-old, just turned 25 in June 16th. He's been in the NBA for 5 years. He was the number five pick in the 2013 draft. He's a 7'1", 250 pounds center out of Ukraine. The guy was a dude that a lot of people feel like he had the physicality, he had the body that can develop. He can put some muscles on some muscle on that body, add some more strength, and he was a guy that was basically a project. He was a guy that people felt like he was raw. He had a lot of developing to do, but he has huge and enormous potential to become one of the better players in the draft. But it didn't happen. Alex Len at this point has been a bust. I feel like I told you guys about Alex Len, is that at the end of the day, Alex Len is a guy that might stay around in the league because of his size. He has the ability to rebound decently depending on the minutes. He has the ability to still set good screens because of his width and his body type and how strong he is. And at the end of the day, he can still do small things on the court. But I still feel like Phoenix has just had trouble in general developing talent, whether it's Marquise Chris, Dragon Bender. They got rid of Tyler Eulis. They never really developed Bledsoe good enough. So the only player that really panned out for them was Devin Booker, and he was a steal at this point at that pick. But I do feel like you have to want to be great. You have to want to love the game. What I mean by that is you have to love playing basketball. You have to go out there and practice. You have to go out there and put in the work. You have to go out to be hungry and want to be great and want to be better and challenge yourself and never get complacent and continue to push yourself to strive for greatness. And I feel like Alex Len was a guy that had the talent, he had the size, he had the body. He had a team that had him for 5 years that was willing to invest in keeping him long term to the point where they just had to say he's a bust for us. They gave up on him, and he's 25. 25 in NBA years isn't as young because after 2 years on this contract, he'll be 28 almost. So at the end of the day, that's a little older than you would think that a player at this caliber will be. And the only reason I say that is because for him to be 25 and not have enormous growth, hasn't really gotten that much better at 25. Most teams will give up on you, just like the Phoenix Suns. And we starting to see an influx of talent coming into the NBA where you have the G League, you have the Summer League, you have the international players, you have the players in college that's all coming in. And remember, Adam Silver he has said that they might even take off the one and done. So then you even have high school players in. So you have a lot of players that you can pick from, a lot of players you can try out in the G League, a lot of players you can scout and watch. And Alex Len was one of those guys where we all felt like he would be good in the future. He wasn't going to be good right away, but 5 years and no real dominant season, not even a good season, like a double-double, at least give me 12 and 10, at least give me 12 and 10. The best season that he had was probably the third season when he gave you 9 and 7 rebounds. That might be the best, but he shot more efficiently the last season, the 17-18 season, giving you 8.5 points, 7 rebounds a game, 1.2 assists, and 56% from the field. But his free throw percentage hasn't really been that good because he hasn't really took that many free throws because he doesn't really get that many touches. He never really developed a post game. He never really developed a reliable jump shot. He couldn't even develop any ball handling, no 3-point shooting. So what is I really giving him the money for besides that he's a big, tall 7-footer that's mobile? Other than that, he hasn't really developed really that much in the last 5 years that he has been in the NBA. And that's why I make that comment of his age. He's 25, but you haven't seen any sign besides a 9 and 7 season that he can potentially be a starter. You haven't seen any signs that he can potentially be an all-star, and he's in the West, and now he's in the East. Like, do he even have a chance to average a 10-10 season? 9-7 is okay, but 5 years you should be better than that. After going through summer league, after going through multiple NBA seasons, getting minutes of 20 minutes. Like, I was just talking about Montrezl Harrell, and he basically getting less minutes than Alex Len. He's putting up better numbers if he was play the minutes that Alex Len has been playing. He had a career high of 23 minutes, and he only gave you 9-7 in those minutes, which isn't terrible, but it isn't what you'll want out of a top 5 pick that you hope develops into a starting center. Even if he's not even an all-star center, you at least want him to give you a double-double. And he wasn't even able to stay on the court. He wasn't even able to get at least 30 to 35 minutes with a team like the Phoenix Suns that needed help, that needed him to be great. And he never was able to get those minutes to the point where they drafted other big men. Even with Tyson Chandler, they signed him, and he still never really broke out and had a great season out of 5 years. But the Atlanta Hawks, if you look at their roster, they just in a position where they're just going all the way in on a rebuild. They really don't have that much talent on this roster. They have Trae Young, a guy that has potential to be a star, but he's not there yet. They have Torian Prince, who's a solid player, but he's 24 years old. And you have obviously Carmelo being bought out. Jeremy Lin might not even stay after this season. They gonna most likely let him go. And they do need size. They only really got Miles Plumlee and Dwayne Dedman, who's not on a long-term deal either. And his contract will be up in the next couple years. But um, they don't really have that center at 7-1, and I can see him potentially becoming a starter for this Phoenix Suns team if they want to keep him. But I look at this deal more or less like they're trying to try out to see how can he fit with a system? Can he be a good player? You want to have the player than, just watching him from a distance. Now you get to see how much he wants it. Now you get to see his work ethic. Now get to see what you can do to improve. Does he want to be great? You don't really know that because he stayed in Phoenix and they were still working with him and still trying to get him to get the best out of his abilities. But now the Hawks get a chance of 2 years to try out and see if he's going to be a good player, see if he wants to be a good player, and see if he can buy into a team concept with this team. He still is young. He still does have some years. He still does have some potential, but he hasn't been able to tap into it. He hasn't been able to do it, get that much out of his talent. And this is a team that, like I said, Miles Plumlee and Dwayne Dedman, I'm not really high on none of those players. They're not bad players. They're not trash. They're solid starters in this league. But Alex Len should, have been better, and he should have put in more work to get to where he had to go. But this is very disappointing seeing a guy be a lottery pick, but not even a lottery pick, one of the top 5 players in that draft being selected, and he doesn't even give you 10 points a game. He doesn't even give you 10 rebounds a game. He hasn't even been able to get 30 minutes a game and on a team that was rebuilding and looking for another star, and he never even came close to being one. So seeing that the Atlanta Hawks haven't gave up on Alex Len, and they're willing to give him a 2-year, $8.5 million deal and try him out and see what they can get out of him. Lets you know that people still haven't gave up on him. They still want to try him out, and they still feel like he can be a quality player. At worst, he might be a 7th, 8th, or 9th man on your bench. He might potentially still be a starter if he really wants to be one. And they get to see that firsthand now that they have him on the roster, and they get to see what they can do and how they can utilize him, what they can get out of him. But this is basically bad news for Alex Len that, the team gave up on you, even though you did get another contract for 2 years. Your NBA career could be potentially dwindling down by the time you're in your 30s if you don't show the work ethic and if you don't show that you want to be great. A lot of teams will give up on you, and we're starting to see that with the Phoenix Suns. But the Hawks, let's see what they can get out of them. Let's see what they can do with them. And at the end of the day, I'm not on the Alex Len bandwagon. I'm not on the Alex Len hype train. I don't even think this is really a good pickup, considering that I'd rather have Miles Plumlee and Dwayne Dedman over Alex Len. But, at the end of the day, he is younger than them, and he still does have the size. He is taller. He is bigger. And why not? If you have the money, you have the space, and you have a team that's going young anyway, and he does fit that timeline of them being young. But you can say the same thing about Phoenix, and he never really became anything. But this team is young, and he probably can rework and try harder and wanted more that he got dropped from the Suns, and he didn't get a massive deal. He didn't get an extension. He didn't even get $10 million total. Montrezl Harrell got $12 for 2 years. He didn't even get the $10 million. That should be a wake up call to Alex Len, letting him know that your career could be potentially over before you're 30 or in your early 30s if you don't continue to push yourself and continue to work hard and continue to want to be great or even become a double double at worst. That should be good enough to make him a starter, but he wasn't even good enough to do that. So I'm not a believer. I'm a doubter, but I did see the potential when they drafted him. He didn't really show too much to me to stay a believer, and neither did the Phoenix Suns. So let me know if you guys think this is a good pickup. Let me know if you guys think he's a bust. Let me know if you guys think I'm too hard on him. Let me know if you guys think that he had 5 years and he never really proved that much in the league, and you can't really see why would the Hawks pick him up. And like I said, for him to just get 2 years, $8 million, they not heavily invested in him financially or heavily invested in him long term and longevity wise to be with this roster. Is basically, let's try him out, let's see what he can do, and at the end of the day, if he wants to stay, we can extend him because we got him for 2 years. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't work out, we can let him go and find somebody else to take his spot, like the Phoenix Suns basically did this year. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. The t-shirt is on my website if you want to take a look at. I'm on my Facebook page if you want to take a look at them. And let me know what you guys think about Alex Len getting this 2-year deal with the Atlanta Hawks.